here, and I can be Vanna. All right. So we went over this like last weekend, and I actually learned a lot from it. So aggro beats control, control beats combo, and combo beats aggro. Just in general, aggro's faster than control. It just you can't do anything with it, and then control is going to keep combo from getting its combo. So they're just going to kind of stop them from being able to do anything that they're trying to do. Then combo is actually faster than aggro, because aggro has to take a couple of turns to hit you, but if you assemble your like Splinter Twin combo, bam, you're dead, right?
So the reason that combo is faster than control is because actually control can't one-for-one aggro.
What? Here, you say it.
Control actually cannot one-for-one aggro in a profitable way. All their ones are terrible, so one-for-one gets you nowhere.
Right. Exactly what he said. So that's the basic, like the triangle, and then you add in aggro control,
Merfolk.
which is exactly where Merfolk is, and then mid-range, which I was mentioning, Sig kind of helps us fall into.
Mid-range is card advantage.
Yeah, mid-range is based on card advantage, multiple for wanting your opponents, so like board wipes, Wrath of God type effects.
Dark Confidant is the other side of mid-range.
Dark Confidant also is mid-range, so you play him, and you get multiple card draw off of one card. So those are both mid-rangey cards. So the way Merfolk works, we have aggro control is where we live. That's where we start. When we know we're playing somebody that's that is aggro, so we know that we're struggling against them, we need to try to be as fast as possible. We need to move this way so that we're ahead of them on the clock. So things like Infect and...
Infect is kind of combo.
Infect is kind of combo-y.
Burn.
But like Burn and Zoo and Affinity, even though we lose to Affinity every time. Not every time. I've beaten it a couple. But generally. So we want to go as far this way as possible to try to out-aggro them. That's the best chance we have.
We want to be that direction.
Yes, because we want to be clockwise of whoever we're playing against. And they might also be thinking about this. So, if I'm playing, let's say, Grixis Control, they're sitting here. It's like the control slightly up towards aggro because they're running the Tazagur, Grimag Angler, stuff like that.
They're control, but they can shift into mid-range and they can shift into...
Yeah. So they're a control deck that they can shift into an aggro type style after sideboarding, or they can shift into like a mid-rangey type style after sideboarding. No.
It's not even sideboarding. It's just how they play.
Oh, I guess it's how they play their cards, how they sequence it. Sideboard can make it more prominent, but they can do that with even their main deck because it's spread out. That's what they're doing with their deck. Let me just sink down lower. Where was I?
You can shift.
Oh, right. So he can shift, but we can also shift. So we're trying to read our opponent. How are they playing? Are they trying to out-aggro me since I'm an aggro control deck? And if that's the case, then I want to make sure I play aggro because they can get to like here on the aggro scale, but I can get to here on the aggro scale. So I can win there.
So someone asked, how do you beat mid-range?
How do I beat mid-range? Mid-range is a really difficult...
You just shift in control.
I mean, yeah, it's not the easiest matchup, but we just shift up into control. So we're running more of your counter spells, our swan song, stuff like that.
So generally, you generally beat things that are 2 steps ahead of you on the metagame clock.
Right. Okay, so you generally beat things that are 2 steps ahead of you on the metagame clock.
So
mid-range is probably going to hit me in game 1 unless I happen to draw a lot of my control. Because mid-range generally is going to beat aggro and aggro control this way. But games 2 and 3, I can shift to have a lot of my counter magic, more of my controlling stuff, and I've got a leg up on them. Similarly with combo decks like Splinter Twin, I'm in a pretty good position, or Merfolk, whoever's playing Merfolk, is in a pretty good position, depending on what we draw and what style we play in, we can keep them off their combo, and while doing so, beat their face in, which is just the beauty of our little love box aggro control. Yeah, we love it.
So one interesting thing is that Splinter Twin is one of the few decks that can occupy almost any part of the clock. Normally, they're combo, but they easily play the control game and the aggro control game. So if we go too far into control, Splinter Twin can actually shift into aggro control, and while we're sitting on a pile of counter spells, they're beating us to death with Snapcasters, Bolts, and Pestermites. So you gotta be
Exactly.
careful.
Right.
You have
So
to
Splinter
recognize
Twin.
it and shift.
Yeah. So you have to be really careful and paying attention. If you're using this strategy to try to figure out what your opponent's doing and how you're going to be able to be more effective, you have to make sure you pay attention to their changes in play style. And I know for me, a lot of this kind of came naturally, but I didn't understand where it was coming from. I couldn't explain what I was doing. So it was really helpful. Oh, wow, that was really smart. There's the clock bigger, bigger and better and fabulous. Okay. Uh, oh, right. So I didn't understand necessarily exactly how this worked, and I intuitively knew, well, if they're trying to get a whole bunch of certain pieces, I need to stop them from getting their pieces, but I couldn't explain it to people. So he had found this article a while ago.
What I know about magic.
What I Know About Magic is what it's called. And so he shared it with me. I think it was Labor Day weekend, and we like sat down and we talked through all of my deck or how my deck works, how it fits on the clock, and my play has gotten significantly better. I've been doing a lot better um, online. I know tonight I'm 2-1, so I'm doing pretty well. That's good. But like like a week and a half a week ago, like that chunk of a week, I was 12-2, which was fantastic. All right, so I can sit back down. But that is super super interesting and really helpful. And I don't know if you guys liked hearing me talk about that. There's a lot more strategies we can talk about. What decks we've played against and what we might want to, how this might help our strategy, and like go from there. So just let me know if this was something you liked. I got a new follow for it. Well, that's good. All right, thank you, take Chris. Thank you for following. And you got me all excited because we're talking about the wheel and stuff. So I'm gonna play one more game tonight, and we can try to reference this as we go. Thank you, Carrick, for being our stage portal wall thing. And Longnecker0581, thank you for following me too. Oh, right. So let's switch back over.